everyone, it's Sharonda from Pay or Wait, and today I'm going to be reviewing Atlanta Season 3, Episode 1, 3 Slaps. That was so unnecessary, but I just had to. I couldn't help myself, y'all. We are finally back. Like, Atlanta, how long has it been? It's been a couple of years now for Atlanta. We are at the Season 3 premiere. I want to make sure I at least get this first episode out to you. I'm sorry, I've just been a jam-packed week, but I'll get the second episode a little bit after the second episode airs, so bear with me. But yeah, let's get into this week's episode. So the episode opens up, and it was already suspect, y'all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm sitting up here like, why is this black man with this white man sitting up here fishing at night? Y'all fishing and drinking beers, and y'all the only people out there? I was like, no. This clearly isn't going to end well. Like, this just didn't sit right in my spirit. It just wasn't making sense to me. The math wasn't mathing as to why you're out here at night by yourself with this man. I just didn't understand it. So, he starts talking about how, like, you know, he gets an eerie feeling when he's at Lake Lanier. He almost drowned when he was a young kid, and he said he felt like someone was trying to, like, basically pull him down. And so the guy that he's with, he ends up telling him about the story about how that this is a man-made lake, which it is a man-made lake by the government, and how basically there's like a whole city that, you know, black people lived in that is under Lake Lanier. And this is actually a true story. I don't want y'all to think that they was just like, ooh, that's a good idea for a movie. Like, no, this is actually a real story. If you look up a city by the name of Oscarville, Georgia, there is actually a city underneath this man-made dam that was built by the government. And just do your research on it. I think over 1,100, you know, black people were displaced from Oscarville, Georgia. For the ones that did stay, they lost their land. They were basically chased out. And there's other stories that kind of started all of this happening when there was a young girl who was raped and murdered. It's a whole story that goes on with it, but definitely go look at the true story about how there is an actual city that is, you know, underneath this lake. I think they've been able to see it twice, some of the ruins from it. Whenever there's a drought and the water kind of goes low, you can actually see the city. Like, there are cemeteries under there. A lot of people talk about how it's haunted. So many people go missing. So just make sure that, you know, y'all doing y'all research. Stay woke out there, all right? Forsyth County, don't be there, okay? I'm just saying, it's not safe. But for real, it ain't safe. So in this instance, yes, the white guy was true, like telling the truth. This place is haunted. But when I was kind of with him, like, you know, at first when he was like, people just want to become white. And as he was talking about some of the people that leave, like, they just became white. And I was like, sir, how do you become white? Like, this not making sense no more. I was with you. You had me in the first quarter, and now I don't know what the hell is happening. So he talking all this crazy stuff, talking about how, you know, being white, you're blinded, and then, but they don't realize that you're still enslaved too. And I was like, now, see, I was wondering when he was talking about it was haunted. Now you talk about white people being enslaved too, or be like, it's not making sense for me anymore. And then things got really creepy because then the guy's eyes went away, and then there were hands that like grabbed black dude, and I was just like, well, sir, you shouldn't have been out at night anyway doing this. But I was like, good thing that I guess it was a dream, because then we see Laquarius, who wakes up from his nap in class. I don't know who just be sitting here taking naps in class, but here we are. And so their teacher is telling them like, hey, y'all, I got a fun announcement. We're going to watch a movie, Black Panther 2. And I was like, oh, snap, turn up. Can I go see the screening too? So then with Aquarius, he just gets real hype and start dancing on top of the desk. And I was like, baby, who taught you to do that? We don't do that. We dancing on desks. And she kept telling him to get down, but he just kept dancing. Then I'm seeing all these white kids like egg him on. I was like, this don't sit right in my spirit right now. I just feel like you shucking and jiving for them, and it just wasn't working for me. So we see that he ends up getting in trouble. His mom and the grandfather gets called down to the school. His mama was not happy at all. She told the teacher, she said, didn't I tell y'all to stop calling me? I got stuff to do. You told me to put his behind in detention. Let me deal with him when he get home. And so his raggedy teacher trying to just do the absolute most without trying to understand what is actually happening. And this is one of the things that upsets me is like sometimes teachers are so quick to like hold students back or say that, you know, kids aren't smart because they're acting out, that it has to be like the work is too challenging for them. When like, ma'am, like, did you try to talk to him? Did we seek like counsel? Maybe he has ADD. Like maybe there's things that can easily be solved with some therapy or just talking it out or learning new skills to make sure he could pay attention. Like, why was it he wasn't smart enough? He wasn't excelling. Like, let's go ahead and hold him back. And then she was like, absolutely the hell no, we're not gonna do it. And I was like, yes, mama, tell them that's not what we're doing. But what sent me is when she started making him do all of these dance moves, it was really telling him, and then she was like, hey, I said, Bill, I said, what is going on right now? But when she did tell him, I was happy when she was like, you laughing with your white classmates, but your white classmates gonna be laughing at you when you end up in jail or you're killed. And she was like, when you're doing all of this and you acting like you don't have no sense, like they will kill you. You think this stuff is cute right now, but this is not cute when you get into the real world. And like, I know it may be like the teacher looking like she was trying to interject, and the look that the mama gave her like, Beach, say something else, okay? Say one more thing and see what happens, all right? I was here for it. I was like, these kids need to understand that this stuff isn't cute. Like, you sitting up here dancing, and I gotta come down and do all of this because you want to shuck and jive for your white friends? No, honey, that's not what we're doing. Not here. Mm-mm. But when the teacher took him away, it was like, oh, you know, I'm going to help you. Don't worry. I'm going to get you out of there. And I was like, I know this hoe finna call DCFS. I absolutely know that she is. And what happened? The mama, you know, they show up at the door. But before that, I was dying laughing when he woke up and he said that he was hungry. Because when she said it was some spaghetti in the fridge, and I was like, I felt that in my spirit because, you know, I was finally free from the shackles of eating spaghetti leftovers for what seemed like a whole month, okay? I don't know why Black Mama sat up there and made that big ass pot of spaghetti. Why did you need all of that? It wasn't until my adulthood, okay, that I didn't know that you weren't supposed to put the whole box of pasta in there. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I just saw my mom, she put the whole box. I didn't know you could save some for later. I didn't know you didn't have to make a big pot that feeds 100 people and now you're eating spaghetti every single day and you got to eat it because you got to make sure it's gone, so she has to cook something new for you to eat. I don't cook spaghetti to this day. The only times I cook spaghetti in my house is if I'm making some catfish nuggets, okay? Fried, preferably. That's the only time, okay? I am still shook, traumatized, PTSD from spaghetti. Still, I'm sorry. Let me just bring it back. I'm sorry. It was just a really dark time in my life, and I don't know who else had to deal with eating spaghetti for a whole month, but like that was a lot for me. I'm probably gonna have to talk this out in therapy. But yeah, so they came, DCFS come, the girl can't even say the boy name, and she was like, what did she say? Did she say, like, you got me effed up? And she called Laquarius. She said, you called the police on me? He was like, I swear I didn't do nothing. And she said, go ahead, take him. And they was looking like, I'm sorry, what? She said, if he don't want to be here, take him. And when she started packing his clothes, and then she was like, hold on, I'm not going to pack all the stuff that I bought with my money. Let them get you some new clothes. I died. I was like, ma'am, you just going to let them take your son? She said, I've had enough. And then, you know, reminding me, your parents be like, leave. You want to go? Leave. Do it. I dare you. I ain't gonna lie, I thought a couple of times called DCFS. I was just like, this is too much. I just can't take anymore. But he ends up going to this new house. They drop him off to these like white ladies. And the girl's name is Amber, and the other girl, I just didn't want to know her name because she just looked evil when I saw her. So I'm going to call her Evil Mom for the sake of this discussion, okay? So when Laquarius walked in and immediately he said, what's that smell? I was like, hold on now. I didn't know if they were like making the whole distinction, how you like, I'm not saying this, so don't try to come for me in the comment section, but when they be saying like black houses smell different than white houses, I didn't know if that's where they were going. But then she was talking about she makes some black African soap and kombucha. I was like, oh, baby, I know that house stank. I know it. I know it stank. It don't stink. It stank. And then when she asked him, like, hey, we're having fried chicken tonight. Do you want capers or sprouts? And I was like, what is capers or sprouts got to do with fried chicken? But when I saw her take the fried chicken out the flour and put it in the microwave, I said, call the police. Call the police right now. Call the police. Call the police. She got to go to jail, underneath the jail. But then when she handed him his towel set and it had Larry on it because she couldn't spell Laquarius or still say Laquarius correctly. And then when he asked for that washcloth, baby, when he asked for that damn washcloth and they were like, the kids looked at each other like, no, he didn't ask for this washcloth. Because that goes back to, I'm not saying this, but, you know, in you know, old folktale, you know, black people use washcloths and white people don't use washcloths. And when she said, wash your hands, and he was like, how am I gonna wash my butt? And I was like, how do people who don't use washcloths, how do y'all wash your ass? That's all I want to know. How do you wash your ass? Yeah, sure, you can use your hands. That's fine. How do you wash your ass? That's the question that I have for people who don't use washcloths, okay? But when we got to the dinner table and he had on his wife beater and the shorts and they was like, what you got on? He was like, my pajamas. I was like, well, I mean, technically those are pajamas right there. You just put a t-shirt on, you put some shorts or some pants, whatever you want. That's pajamas. You know, I just started wearing actual pajamas since. I never had pajamas. Not that I recall. Maybe I had some night dresses. I ain't gonna lie. I had some Pocahontas and some Princess Jasmine night dresses. But honestly, like, those are pajamas. I didn't see anything wrong with what Laquarius was doing. But I was with Laquarius as to, this chicken is uncooked. And once again, they should have been arrested just for that. Before we got into the child endangerment, you know, like, they should have been arrested for that. All right? Because that upset me in my spirit. That I even had to see that. That I saw the kids eating that. Her telling them that you don't need to have seasoning on your food. Capers and avocados for a side with chicken? He was right to tell them it was nasty. He was absolutely right. But I really hate that they was feeding Corn Pop. The dog was getting hamburgers. And even Amber and them sitting up here eating this nasty ass chicken. Haven't made sense for me because it wasn't making sense. But when she said there are kids in Africa who can't eat, first, we really need to stop this narrative that, like, everyone lives in villages or something. Like, Africa has cities, cars, like, nice, like, it's like a normal place. Like, America's a normal place. And I don't know why we keep spreading this narrative, these lies, but I really need us to stop doing that. So we get an inkling that they're having money problems. We see that they're having a conversation, but I was like, how y'all got money problems? Y'all got these kids? Because I know y'all getting paid for these kids. But when she tried to start having Laquarius sing a Negro spiritual type, it just gave me what she was singing. And it was just giving me like she wanted him to sing a Negro spiritual. And that really just upset me. That's the moment actually that was the second time, because really the chicken was enough. The chicken was enough for me to want to fight her. I was ready to fight them, like on site. On site was good. So they take the kids and pimp the kids out the damn farmer's market. And we see that, you know, I was like, Laquarius, you're not going to shuck and jive? Evil mom said, like, put your back into it. Go ahead and dance for these white people. You wanted to dance at the beginning of the episode. I don't see you wanting to shuck and jive now, Laquarius. So Laquarius said that he was going to make a run for it. He goes to the cops and hugs the cops. He was like, yo, I want to go back home. These people crazy. Like, they don't feed me. I'm hungry. And the cop was like, I almost shot you. And I was like, well, I really thought the cop was going to shoot him. I ain't going to lie. That's kind of bad because that was my first thought. Like, clearly just the society that we live in. But, yeah. So, the cop, you know, he sees the moms and stuff. And, you know, they kind of smoothed it over like, hey, we taking impoverished children. I was like, how y'all taking impoverished children when you, like, not feeding these kids? Like, they're clearly malnourished. You know, not even going to look into it. But when they told him, like, the police officer, they were like, hey, we make sure that we, you know, that we make sure that our kids, that they love the police. Like, that they know the police has their back. And I was just like, what right now? But what sent me was when he said that the kid looked like Aloe Black, which is a musician. He wears like this hat. I was just like, we don't all look alike, but go ahead, do what you do. I will say that, you know, even though, like, you know, these interactions was funny, I do want to let y'all know that this actually is based on a true story that did not end well as it ended in this episode. But if you guys look up the Hart, I think it's the Hart family murder-suicide, it's actually based on a true story, unfortunately. And when he hugs the police officer like that, that was something that actually happened, and how they exploited that young child to make it seem like, you know, this was a way like, oh, look at these black kids and the police helping them. Like, it's a really sad story, and it's really just another story on how the system continues to fail black children, black people in general, but like how our black children are not protected. I just want to make sure that y'all do y'all research on that as well. But we see that family services come to do a wellness check. One of the neighbors called in on them, which is something that actually happened in real life. But the lady comes, the black lady comes, and I was dying laughing because she was like, what is this smell? And I was like, y'all, like, I kind of want to know what the smell is right now. But when the little girl was coughing and they gave her like blueberries to help cure her cough, I said, what, y'all, what? Then she said, well, can I get a washcloth to clean this off? And they, baby, when she started scribbling, when they said they didn't have no washcloth, whoa! I know this black lady's like, I didn't had enough. Then she asked Laquarius, like, yo, like, how's life for you? He said, honey, life is hard and I'm hungry. That's not what he said, but I'm just saying, my man said that he was hungry, okay? So, evil mom says, like, hey, can I talk to you? Like, and kind of explain to you what's going on with the kids. She was like, sure. I said, sis, don't do that. I know this hoe finna kill you. Because, baby, when the evil mom came back and they was, like, eating food and stuff. And the reason I call her evil mom is because she just looked evil. And even when the bill collectors called and she slammed the phone like that, I was just like, how you mad that you owe money? You know what? Just know she evil. So it's clear to me that she's killed this woman. And then we kind of get confirmation because after Laquarius has his nightmare, you know, he wakes up and he sees Amber and he was like, hey, you know, where are we really going? Because she was like, hey, get ready, we're going to the Grand Canyon. And I was like, Atlanta to the Grand Canyon? What? So he was like, where are we really going? And then she kind of looked like a little shook, and then Evil Mom came in and broke it up before she said anything. And so they all get in the van, but before he gets in the van, he sees the lady clipboard. I was like, I know these hoes killed this lady. So they in the car, and I was dying laughing when the kids was kind of like looking at each other like, he was like, you know this white woman finna kill us? And then he was like, it was like, Ninja, I know, but they was like, we're gonna have peace now. When the girl said her hair hurt, I said, this is not supposed to be funny, but I was just like, I'm sorry, I did laugh. But what killed me was I was just really confused as to, so y'all clearly we know that they value Corn Pop's life over the kids, because Corn Pop was sitting here eating better than everybody in the house eating hamburgers. But when they like let Corn Pop go, but they were gonna kill the kids, I was just like, what in the hell is going on? But this just goes back to show how, and we know this in society, how they value, I mean, let's be honest, like, it almost feels like they value animals' lives over black lives. I know I'm gonna lose some followers over this video, but I'm just gonna be honest, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, this is the truth. It ain't like I'm lying. But so they are driving on the damn bridge over Lake Lanier, and they kind of hear something funny, and then they see that Larry isn't actually under there. Larry then brought Corn Pop back and said, Corn Pop got to get it too, because Corn Pop was sitting here eating good while we weren't eating good, so he got to go out with y'all. So he managed to jump out before the car actually went off of the cliff into Lake Lanier, which is kind of crazy, like the symbolic how like this crazy thing happened and they go into Lake Lanier. In the real story, this was like, it was somewhere on the West Coast. I think it was Seattle or something, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, so he ends up getting out, and he goes to, he walks back home. And baby, when I say that boy was so happy to go home, he was washing dishes, cleaning the house up. His mom was like, you finally came back. And then he was like, is this some spaghetti in the fridge? I was like, oh, I know that spaghetti it sound good now, don't it? I know that spaghetti sound good. He gonna eat fried chicken ever again, y'all. He probably traumatized. So, we see when he's watching TV that the kids escaped as well, that they were able to get out of the car, so they didn't die. Only Corn Pop, Amber, and Evil Mom. And so, yeah, we see that at the end of the episode, we see that he hears something and Laquarius looks over his shoulder, and then we cut to Ern, who is waking up, and he has this woman in his bed. And then that's the end of episode 1. Y'all, this is what I missed about Atlanta. To be honest with you, I just really love how, like, watching a series that makes you, like, go and educate yourself. That I was, like, sitting here, like, you know, researching stuff, and you know, that they're actually educating people but still entertaining people at the same time. Because now people are going to go learn about this city that is in under Lake Lanier, and how Forsyth County has this racist past. You know, how, you know, the Ku Klux Klan is still there. Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff that still happens in Georgia. Like, if people act like, that's why, like, that's a story for a different day. But yeah, I would definitely tell you go research what happened in Oscarville, Georgia. Also, to the story that happened with the kids. Unfortunately, in the true story, the kids were murdered. They were all in the car and passed away. I think it was 5 kids. And the real kid's name, Laquarius, was actually Devontae. So I would tell you to definitely go look that up. But I really like this episode. I really love how, like, you know, just showing the whole difference of how your life can change like that. And the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You might think that life is bad with your parents. And, like, any kid was kind of just like, I hate it here. I want to go somewhere else, until we see what happens when you actually might be taken out of your home. But I really like this opening episode. I know it didn't have nothing to do with what's going on in the actual season, but I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I'd be very interested to hear what are your thoughts about the first episode of Atlanta, season 3, episode 1, 3 slaps. Actually, the 3 slaps came from when his grandpa, like, just, I didn't feel like it was like a real slap. I was like, no, grandpa, what was all of this? But yes, those are that's my recap and my thoughts on the episode. I absolutely loved. All right. Normalize shows that make you go learn something. Normalize that for me, all right? And make you laugh at the same time, even though I'm probably going to hell for laughing. But still, those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Atlanta. As always, my name is Sharona from Para Waits. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.